Good afternoon, everybody. It's Jed Joling with eXp Realty. Today is Monday, April 17th, and I've got a Southern Oregon market update for us. So between Jackson and Josephine counties, today we have 822 active single-family residential listings on the market. In comparison to where we were a year ago today, we were at 764. So we're up only 7% from that time. Last week we had 109 new listings. 103 listings go pending, 68 closed, and 18 off the market due to expired or canceled listing contracts. Comparing that to the 4-week average, for the new count, we are up 15 3/4 for the week. For the pending count, up 11 1/4 for the week, and for the closed count, just up 1 3/4 units for the week. And now, if we take those and compare them to the same week last year, for the new count, we are down 35% this year. Compared to last year. On the pending count, we're down 29%, and on the closed count, we're down 35%. Out of the 109 new listings this past week, 17 of those have already gone pending. So that's 15.5% of the new listings already pending in the first week. So given all this data for the 1 week of 1 week snapshot of inventory from this last week, we are at 2.8 months of inventory. And if we break it out into the 4-week average, we are at 2.83 months of inventory. So essentially about the same amount of inventory between both of those. Today's mortgage rates ticked back up a little bit per some of the data we are receiving from this last month. The conventional 30-year fixed rate today is at 6.61%, and the FHA 30-year fixed rate is at 6.25%. A year ago today, the 30-year conventional fixed rate was at 5.25%. So we're sitting a little more than 1.25 higher than that now than we were this same time last year. Some of the data that affected these rates most negatively was the jobs report from last month, but also the CPI report came out last week. Our core CPI was still 0.4% month over month, which when you're targeting a 2% for year over year, 0.4 for 1 month is not good at all. That's the core CPI. The CPI report for the annual inflation was 5%, and that's better compared to February, which was 6%, but still nowhere near our 2% target. So given the data we've seen here, we're expecting, and what I've been hearing from a lot of the mortgage news is that we'll likely see another 0.25% rate hike from the Fed come May, and hopefully that will be the last, but that's what we were also hoping with this previous rate hike. But given this data, they still are having a hard time getting the inflation under control. So we'll find out certainly soon enough. May is just around the corner. I want to take a look and go over our active count, our active listing count. So right now we're at 822 today. I just went back and looked at last year. So just to give a comparison. So last year from January 1 until this point last year, so call it 17th of April, the active listing count for the single family residential category, which is what I track, went from 573 to 764, which was a 33% increase in the active listing inventory count there. This year, for the same dates, our numbers, so January 1 went from 877 till now 822. So we've actually decreased 6.3%, which is interesting. But like I've said, there's a lot of people that are locked in at those lower rates. A lot of people that can't afford now to buy at these higher rates. And so we're not seeing nearly as many homes hit the market because of those issues there. But it's just kind of interesting to see what the actual data shows. So a major difference in what the active listing count has done this year in comparison to last. We've definitely seen a lot lower numbers for new listings this year, as have we for pending listings and closed listings, of course. But this week was fairly strong, 109 new listings and 103 pending. That's great. That's some of the best numbers we've seen yet this year. I think that's the second or third best pending week we've seen, and like the second or third best new listing count we've seen for a single week. So that's great. That wraps up everything I've got. Next week I'm going to be out of town, so I'm not sure if I'll have a market video yet, but I will still put out a newsletter at least. I'm just not sure what my service is going to be like, and uploading these videos can take some definite data to do that. So we'll just see pending what the plans are for next week and what the service is like if I put out a video, but I will get out at least a newsletter to everybody with the data in it. So everybody have a good rest of the week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.